Hey guys!
Alright guys, we're here today to check out a video. It's a lyric video, but it's a video nevertheless. A song from one of my best friends. When we started this channel, I think he was one of the first guys that I really became really close with. And that's none other than...
Him and Asim.
Asim later on in the channel. I think Mika was Mika was like the second person I interviewed ever. Because OJ from Visit was the first person I interviewed. And I think Mika was the second person that gave me the time to talk to me. A guy who had a channel with his kid with like...
2,000 subscribers.
3,000 subscribers, something like that. And he gave us the time of the day. So Mika from More Subita, he has a solo project. And that is Obligatory... My God, man, I'm dyslexic as fuck. Obligatory Human Destruction. And the name of the song is Cancer. Alright, you've never heard this. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
No. But since it has Mika in it, I'm intrigued.
It doesn't just have Mika in it. He does everything. Vocals, guitars, bass. Okay, the drums, he programmed them. But still, he did them nevertheless. I know. He didn't drum them, but he still programmed them.
Yeah.
So he does everything. Vocals, guitars, drums, bass, everything. It's his solo. Like, there was no help, no assistance, besides of his laptop. He did everything, right?
It's a full-on solo.
Yeah. So there's a whole album he's going to be releasing because they're working right now on a new More Subita album, and I asked him because he sent me this album last year for me to check it out. Hey, listen to him. I did this as my solo stuff. You just check it out, listen to it. And I listened to it, and I told him what I thought and which tracks I liked more and which tracks I liked less and whatever. And I asked him at that time, "Are you ever going to put this out there?" And he goes, "I don't know. I did it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it." So when this video came out now, I was like, oh, I sent him a message. Like, oh, you decided to release it. He's like, yeah, we're working on the More Subita album, but it's coming later in the year. So we have there's a gap now here where I feel like I can release my solo work to the world. And this is the first single that he releases, Cancer. And Cancer is something that's really close to him. Well, it's close to a lot of people. Cancer has touched a lot of people in a very negative way, unfortunately. Yeah. So, are you ready to listen to this? I heard the song already. Obviously, I haven't seen the lyric video, but I heard the whole album. I have the album already. But I'm really interested to see. You know Mika, you know what he does, you know what he can do. He does everything on this track. So I'm really, more than what I think about it, I'm more interested to see what you think about it. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Force yourself into me.
Ooh.
Oof.
All right.
Very, very aggressive.
Is it ever? The whole album is like that. So, what did you think?
Whew. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything going into. I was expecting it to be different from More Subita, because a lot of people, when they go and do their solo, they do like solo stuff. It's usually they move away from the stuff they already do.
Yeah, well, otherwise what's the point?
They try something different.
Yeah, otherwise like just stick to doing whatever it is that you're doing.
This is so heavy. Like
way heavier than More Subita.
Way more heavier than More. This was like tipping on Fit for an Autopsy borders, because even the vocals were kind of giving me some Fit for an Autopsy vibes. Because
I agree with you on that.
More Fit for an Autopsy from like before they started doing clean vocals like in the new album. All right.
Well, they don't do clean. I mean, they do some clean vocals, but
only in the chorus.
Yeah.
This gives me the verses of Fit for an Autopsy vibe.
The new album from Fit for an Autopsy is a little bit more eclectic as far as the vocals are concerned. But you're still going to get this.
Melodic.
Yeah, but you're still going to. Actually, the new Fit for an Autopsy is more melodic than this album, and then this track. I agree with you. When I first got this from Mika, unlike you, I didn't think about that. I thought it was going to be a little bit maybe of something in between More Subita and Wolfheart. Something in between. Not too much of one, not too much of the other, but something in between. That's what I thought when he sent me the album. And when I listened to it, first of all, I didn't know he was doing the vocals. So I was like, who's doing the vocals? Like, these are some heavy vocals. Like, and he's like, no, I do everything. I've done. It's my solo stuff. I did everything. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that he did everything. I was like, holy shit, this is really heavy. It's like, I mean, a lot less melodic than More Subita is, in my opinion, More Subita is heavy. There's no denying it that is heavy. But there's still a lot of melody there. To me,
same with Wolfheart.
Yeah, the two bands are different in their approach and in their sound. There's some similarities, but overall they're very different. When you hear one song from one band, you know who that band is, and when you hear a song from the other, you know who the other is. There's some similarities, but they're very apart from each other. Let's put it that way, right? So this to me was like, wow, this is really heavy, and the whole album is like that. So it's not like an album. It's not a melodic death metal album. Because it doesn't have those melodic stretches.
It's kind of touching deathcore a bit.
Yeah, death metal, deathcore. It's definitely within that arena there.
It's deathcore, but with
a finished twist.
Yeah, with a finished twist.
I agree with you on that. I kind of felt that way listening to it too. It had a little bit of a deathcore vibe. Death metal, deathcore vibe, which to me is a lot heavier than what he does with More Subita. Because More Subita has a lot of heaviness from the vocals, but from the music as well. There's a lot of heaviness to their sound.
Oh, there's still that guitar melodies.
Yeah, there's still great melodies, and they still construct songs that have some melodic portions of the track, like these really nice melodic, like really melancholic bridges and whatever. Yeah. And even if the album has one or two songs that it's more destructive, more heavier, more driven, there's still going to be a few tracks in the album that have that melody in there that really balances out the album. This album, obviously, he's only released one single so far, but this album is pretty much like this all the way through. There's not really songs that come in with like really melancholic guitar melodies and that kind of stuff. I mean, there are some melodies there, but overall is a very heavy, very driven, very pungent album. Is really strong, really thick. There's a lot to digest, and the vocals are like that all the way through. So to me, you have a much heavier side of what I was expecting from him. This to me is almost an album or a project, if you will, that is born out of pain
and
hate, and that gets transmitted into the music because Mika lost his dad, and I think this is an album that this song definitely reflects that loss. So this is an album that, in my opinion, there was no room for melody because
because there was no light sides.
No, because exactly. But to me,
there was nothing light in the song to really.
No, to me, it's almost like there's no room for melody because he's not coming from a place of acceptance.
He's coming from a place of hate and anger.
Not necessarily hate towards what happened, but not hate towards the person or whatever.
No.
Just hate towards of what happened.
And the anger
I think it's more anger and a sense of hopelessness of not being able to do anything about it. A sense of loss, sense of hopelessness, anger, pain, all of those feelings, right? So to me, there's no room for to me there was no sorrow in there, because if you had sorrow in there, then you would get some of those more melodic stretches of guitar playing that he does in More Subita, for example, and he did in Wolfheart and as well. So to me, this is an album that's really comes from a very deep place within in a place where you have a cut and that cut hasn't healed yet. I think you can have tracks that are in my opinion, when you're writing an album, if you're at a stage now where the cut has healed and there's a scar there, you can go with a melody, because you're looking at the scar and you're looking where you were and where you are.
But if the cut is fresh,
there's more healing to it.
Yeah,
but if the cut is wide open and it's still fresh, I think at that point in time it's really hard for you to see the forest from the trees. So all you're gonna get out of you is aggression. It's the way that you have to exteriorize everything that you're feeling inside of you. And to me, having listened to this whole album, I felt that way. I felt that this album, perhaps with him knowing, or perhaps with him not knowing, but to me, this album was him exteriorizing everything, all that anger that he had built inside because of what happened, because of his loss. And this album represents that musically and vocally. I mean, vocally for sure.
Yeah.
So that is it. That is what I took from when I listened to the album for the first time. I never told him that, but now that we're doing the video, and I know he'll watch it, he'll get what I'm saying. And I feel that way listening to it. And you feel that way listening to this track. And when you read the lyrics, you feel that way about the lyrics, the way he's expressing himself. So it's a very personal project. It's something very personal. And regardless if he wanted it to make it personal or not, it came out that way. Because I don't think you can control that. Because psychologically, it's inside of you. That anger, that unfinished business is there. And there's only one way for you to heal, and that's to put it all out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think he could put it necessarily out there in a More Subita record, because it would really skew the sound of the band, in my opinion. It would really take them away from where they are as a band. And I think maybe you could do it in one track or whatever, but you cannot do it consistently throughout a whole record.
Yeah.
So by doing something solo, I think he can pull it off and exercise those demons. Right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is it. Well, keep your eyes open, because, there's an album coming out, and this is just the first single from the album. And support my boy Mika. He deserves it. He's a family man living in the north of Finland. The man deserves it. The man deserves all the help he can get, not only with this project, but obviously with More Subita as well. I love those guys, and support great musicians.
Yeah.
Come on, buy some music. Do the right thing.
Be a man. Do the right thing.
Or a woman. Or gender neutral, whatever it is. As long as you do the right thing, I could care less.
Yeah.
What do you consider yourself? All right, guys, this is it for today, but come back tomorrow. We'll have more videos for you. See you guys.
See ya.